A little girl tugs at a billionaire's sleeve and says, "You have the same scar as my daddy." What happens next will leave you speechless and questioning how fate connects us in the most unexpected ways. Under the brilliant skyline of Chicago, Jason Harlow, a self-made billionaire, seemed to have it all: a vast empire, a sprawling mansion, and a reputation for unyielding success. Yet, as the sun set over his glass-walled penthouse, Jason sat alone in his study, a crystal tumbler of untouched scotch on the table beside him. His piercing gray eyes stared at the city below, but his thoughts were far from the bustling streets. Jason was haunted by a memory he couldn't escape: the loss of his younger brother, Liam, who vanished without a trace nearly a decade ago. The only tangible reminder Jason carried was a faint scar on his forearm, the result of a childhood accident the brothers had laughed about at the time. Now, the scar was a constant reminder of the void Liam left behind. His wealth and power had done little to fill the emptiness. Meanwhile, in a different part of the city, Emily Carter, a widowed, single mother, lived a life of struggle but resilience. Working as a cleaner to provide for her 7-year-old daughter, Lily, Emily barely managed to make ends meet. Yet her spirit remained unbroken, driven by her fierce love for her daughter. The fateful meeting between Jason and Emily was never supposed to happen. Their worlds couldn't have been more different: Jason, shielded by luxury, and Emily, battling each day for survival. But as fate would have it, Emily was hired to clean Jason's corporate offices late at night, a job she took to ensure she could still spend mornings with Lily. One stormy evening, Emily had to bring Lily along to work after the sitter canceled unexpectedly. Lily, a curious and bright-eyed child, wandered into Jason's office while Emily cleaned the hallway. Jason, distracted by paperwork, barely noticed the little girl until her soft voice broke the silence. "You have the same scar as my daddy," Lily said, her tiny finger pointing to Jason's forearm. Jason decided to visit Emily's apartment unannounced, something completely out of character for him. He arrived at the modest building in a sleek black car that seemed completely out of place in the rundown neighborhood. When Emily opened the door, her initial shock quickly turned to concern. She couldn't understand why her powerful boss was standing in her hallway, holding a brown envelope. "I need to talk to you," Jason said, his tone softer than usual. Emily invited him in hesitantly, her apartment clean but sparse. Lily peeked out from behind her mother, her curious eyes lighting up when she recognized Jason. "Hi," she exclaimed, clearly unbothered by his serious demeanor. Jason knelt at Lily's level, his voice betraying a rare vulnerability. "Lily, do you remember what you said yesterday about my scar?" She nodded enthusiastically, pointing to her arm. "It looks just like the one Daddy had. Mommy says it's special because Daddy used to call it his badge of bravery." Jason's breath hitched at the familiar phrase. He had heard Liam use those exact words. His suspicions grew stronger, and he handed the envelope to Emily. "I think we need to talk about this," he said, his voice steady but emotional. Emily opened the envelope cautiously, her hands trembling as she pulled out an old photograph of 2 boys, Jason and Liam. It was taken years ago, during a summer camping trip. Jason pointed to the younger boy in the picture. "That's my brother Liam. He disappeared almost a decade ago." Emily's face turned pale as recognition set in. This can't be," she whispered, her eyes darting to Lily, who was busy playing with a small stuffed bear. "My husband. His name was Liam too, but he never spoke about his family. He always said he didn't have anyone left." Jason's heart sank as Emily recounted her husband's story. A man who showed up in Chicago with no past, no family, and a heart full of secrets. They had met at a diner where she worked, and despite his reserved nature, Liam had won her over with his kindness and humor. They married quickly, but their happiness was short-lived. Just 2 years after Lily was born, Liam passed away in a car accident, leaving Emily to pick up the pieces. Jason sat back, overwhelmed by the possibility that Lily could be his niece. He needed confirmation, but deep down, he already knew the truth. Jason froze, his pen hovering mid-air. For the first time in years, the carefully constructed walls around his emotions began to crack. "What did you say?" he asked, his voice low but urgent. Emily burst into the office, apologizing profusely and pulling Lily away. But Jason couldn't shake the encounter. The little girl's innocent words echoed in his mind, awakening memories he had buried deep. That night, Jason couldn't focus on anything else. Lily's words played on repeat in his mind, triggering memories he had long tried to suppress. The scar, barely noticeable to most, was identical to the one his brother Liam had gotten in the same childhood accident. But how could this little girl know about it? He dismissed it as coincidence, but felt an inexplicable pull to know more. Emily, on the other hand, was mortified. As they walked home through the rain-soaked streets, she scolded Lily gently. "Sweetheart, you can't just talk to strangers like that." But Lily, unbothered, smiled up at her mother. "He seemed nice, Mommy, and his scar is just like Daddy's." The mention of her late husband stung Emily. It had been years since she'd lost him, but the pain still felt fresh. The scar Lily referred to was something Emily barely noticed anymore, a mark her husband had gotten in a childhood mishap he used to joke about. She brushed it off as a child's imagination, but the moment in Jason's office left her uneasy. She hoped the incident wouldn't jeopardize her job. Meanwhile, Jason instructed his assistant to look into Emily's background, curiosity gnawing at him. He needed answers. The next morning, Jason's assistant, Mark, placed a file on his desk. "Emily Carter," Mark said, adjusting his glasses. "Widow, works multiple cleaning jobs. No red flags in her background. Her daughter Lily is 7 years old." Jason flipped through the file, his expression unreadable. As he scanned Emily's photo, something about her eyes struck him. They carried the same quiet determination his brother Liam once had. But it was Lily's birth certificate that truly caught Jason's attention. The father's name was missing, and Lily's date of birth aligned with the time shortly after Liam disappeared. Jason leaned back in his chair, his heart pounding. Could it be? Was it even possible? The idea seemed absurd, but the coincidences were piling up too fast to ignore. Meanwhile, Emily prepared for another long shift. She didn't know that her life was about to change. Jason had decided to meet her personally, this time not as her employer, but as a man desperate for the truth. He couldn't shake the feeling that Lily might be connected to the brother he had lost so many years ago. Jason's mind raced as he made a decision that could either bring closure or unravel everything he thought he knew. The room was thick with tension as Jason and Emily grappled with the implications of their conversation. "There's only one way to know for sure," Jason said cautiously. "A DNA test." Emily hesitated. The idea of exhuming Liam's past, and possibly his remains, was overwhelming. "I don't want to disturb his memory," she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. Jason softened his tone. "I understand, but if Liam was my brother, then Lily is family. I want to be there for both of you." Emily looked at Lily, who was happily drawing pictures at the small kitchen table, unaware of the storm swirling around her. After a moment, Emily nodded. "For Lily's sake, let's do it." They agreed to proceed with the test, and Jason arranged everything swiftly, using his resources to expedite the process. In the days that followed, he found himself spending more time with Emily and Lily. They shared stories about Liam, Jason recalling their adventurous childhood, and Emily sharing tender moments from their marriage. The more they talked, the more the pieces fit together. A bond began to form between Jason and Emily, built on shared grief and the hope of a newfound family. Lily, delighted by Jason's frequent visits, began to see him as a friend, further deepening the connection. While waiting for the DNA test results, Jason invited Emily and Lily to his estate for a weekend getaway. Hesitant but encouraged by Lily's excitement, Emily agreed. Upon arrival, Lily was ecstatic, exploring the vast gardens and marveling at the grandeur of the mansion. Emily, too, was struck by the contrast to their modest life, but felt surprisingly comfortable in Jason's presence. One evening, as the three of them sat by a roaring fireplace, Lily curled up with a book while Jason and Emily talked late into the night. Emily opened up about the struggles she faced after Liam's death, the financial hardships, the loneliness, and the challenge of raising a child on her own. Jason listened intently, his respect for her growing with each revelation. In turn, Jason shared his own burdens: the pressure of running a conglomerate, the emptiness of his success without family to share it with, and his deep regret over not reconciling with Liam before he disappeared. Emily placed a reassuring hand on his. "You couldn't have known," she said softly, "but maybe now we have a chance to heal, together." Just then, Jason's phone buzzed with a notification. The DNA test results were in. With a mixture of anxiety and anticipation, they opened the email together. The results confirmed what they both had come to suspect. Lily was indeed Jason's niece. The room was filled with a profound silence as the reality settled over them. Jason felt a surge of emotions: joy, relief, and a renewed sense of purpose. The confirmation of Lily's identity left Jason and Emily reeling. For Jason, it was as though a piece of his lost brother had been returned to him. But for Emily, the revelation brought a mix of relief and uncertainty. What did this mean for her and Lily? Could Jason, a man of immense wealth and influence, become a permanent part of their lives? Jason, now more determined than ever, promised to be there for them. "Lily is my family," he said firmly, "and that makes you family too, Emily." She blinked back tears, overwhelmed by his kindness, but wary of what this new dynamic might bring. Meanwhile, Lily's innocence remained a constant source of light. Unburdened by the complexities of adult relationships, she quickly grew attached to Jason. "Uncle Jason," she called him one morning, tugging on his hand to show him a drawing she'd made. Jason's heart swelled at the title, a joy he hadn't felt in years filling the void left by Liam's absence. But as their bond deepened, challenges arose. News of Jason's newfound family spread among his business associates and the media, threatening to disrupt the fragile peace. The news of Jason's niece and her humble beginnings became the talk of the tabloids. Sensational headlines spun their story, with reporters camping outside Jason's mansion and Emily's apartment. Emily, unaccustomed to such attention, felt her anxiety rise. She worried about Lily, who was too young to understand the significance of it all. Jason, however, remained steadfast. "Let me handle this," he assured Emily. With the help of his PR team, he released a statement that emphasized his love for Lily and his commitment to protecting her privacy. The press frenzy began to die down, but the experience left Emily questioning whether their lives could ever return to normal. Amid the chaos, Jason took steps to ensure their security. He arranged for Emily and Lily to move into a secure property near his mansion, giving them a comfortable home while still respecting their independence. Emily resisted at first, reluctant to accept such a grand gesture, but Jason's sincerity won her over. As they settled into this new chapter, Jason made another decision. He would start the foundation in Liam's honor, dedicated to helping single parents and their children. It was his way of keeping Liam's memory alive while giving back to families like Emily and Lily's. Just as Jason, Emily, and Lily began adjusting to their new lives, a shadow from the past resurfaced. A man claiming to be Liam's old friend, Victor Langston, reached out to Jason. I have information about your brother, Victor said cryptically, arranging a meeting at Jason's office. When they met, Victor's demeanor was unsettling. He revealed that he and Liam had worked together years ago in a construction business that Jason never knew existed. According to Victor, Liam had trusted him with significant funds to start a project before his disappearance. However, Victor claimed that the money had vanished under suspicious circumstances. Jason was skeptical but intrigued. "Why come to me now?" he asked, his sharp gaze fixed on Victor. "Because," Victor replied, leaning forward, "I think Liam was hiding something that might still affect you and Lily." The conversation left Jason with more questions than answers. Was Victor telling the truth, or was this a ploy to exploit Jason's wealth? Unsure of Victor's intentions, Jason confided in Emily, who shared his concern but encouraged him to investigate further. Jason decided to dig deeper, determined to uncover the truth about his brother's mysterious disappearance and the role Victor might have played. Jason hired a private investigator to delve into Victor's claims. The search unearthed troubling details. Liam had indeed worked with Victor on several ventures, but the partnership ended abruptly amid allegations of embezzlement. Victor's financial records hinted at shady dealings, raising doubts about his credibility. At the same time, Jason uncovered a journal Liam had left behind. Hidden in an old storage box, the worn leather notebook held entries from the final years of Liam's life. As Jason read through the pages, his heart broke at the revelations. Liam had felt immense pressure to live up to Jason's success, which led him to risky ventures and dangerous people. One entry stood out. "I hope Jason forgives me. I never wanted to disappoint him. But if anything happens to me, I hope he finds Lily. She's my everything." Jason's hands trembled as he finished reading. His brother's struggles and sacrifices came into sharp focus, filling him with guilt and sorrow. He realized that reconnecting with Lily wasn't just a chance to honor Liam's memory. It was his responsibility to protect the family Liam had left behind. The stakes had never been higher. With Victor's motives unclear and Liam's legacy on the line, Jason prepared for a confrontation that would determine their future. Jason arranged another meeting with Victor, this time in his mansion, where he could control the environment and ensure Emily and Lily's safety. When Victor arrived, Jason wasted no time. "I know about your history with Liam," Jason began, his tone sharp and unyielding. "If you're here to exploit my family, you've picked the wrong target." Victor, however, remained calm. "I'm not here for money," he insisted, pulling a worn envelope from his jacket. "I wanted to give you this." Jason hesitated before taking the envelope. Inside was a stack of letters written by Liam to Victor. They detailed Liam's regrets, his fears, and his overwhelming love for Emily and Lily. One letter stood out. A hastily written note asking Victor to protect his family if anything ever happened to him. "I failed him," Victor admitted, his voice cracking. "When Liam died, I was too ashamed to face you or Emily. I'm here now because I want to make things right." Jason studied Victor's face, searching for deceit, but finding only sincerity. Though wary, Jason chose to believe him. "If you truly cared for my brother, then prove it," Jason said. "Help me build something meaningful in his name." The confrontation marked a turning point for Jason. Victor's letters and Liam's journal gave Jason the clarity he needed. With Emily's encouragement, he channeled his grief into action. Together, they launched the Liam Harlow Foundation, dedicated to helping struggling families find stability and support. Victor joined as a key advisor, using his connections to secure funding and resources. Though Emily remained cautious, she acknowledged Victor's efforts to atone for his past. Jason, too, found himself letting go of old grudges, choosing to focus on the future. As the foundation grew, Jason became a more active part of Emily and Lily's lives. He attended Lily's school events, taught her about her father, and shared stories that made her laugh and cry. The mansion, once a cold and empty place, became a lively hub of activity, filled with laughter and purpose. The final breakthrough came when Lily, during a family dinner, looked at Jason and said, "I think Daddy would be happy you're my uncle." Jason's eyes glistened with unshed tears as he hugged Lily tightly, silently vowing to honor Liam's memory by being the best uncle he could be. With the scars of the past finally healing, Jason realized he had found something money could never buy: family, purpose, and love. Months after the launch of the Liam Harlow Foundation, Emily and Lily settled into their new lives. Emily's fears about Jason's influence had eased, replaced by gratitude for his unwavering support. Lily, once a quiet and reserved child, blossomed with confidence. She often visited the Foundation's offices with Jason, helping to pack supplies or draw pictures to decorate the walls. Emily found a new sense of purpose as well. Jason offered her a position at the Foundation, overseeing community outreach programs for single parents. Though hesitant at first, Emily accepted, eager to make a difference for families facing struggles she knew all too well. Her days were now filled with meaningful work, and her bond with Jason deepened as they collaborated on projects. Meanwhile, Jason continued to open his heart. His once guarded demeanor softened, and he began forging connections with people beyond his business world. He hosted events at his mansion, transforming it into a place of joy and generosity. Guests often commented on the transformation, marveling at how the house, like Jason himself, had been brought to life. For the first time in years, Jason felt as though he belonged, not to his wealth or his reputation, but to the family he had rediscovered. As the Foundation thrived, it became a symbol of the healing journey shared by Jason, Emily, and Lily. The community began to embrace their efforts, and stories of the Foundation's impact spread across the city. Families found shelter, children received an education, and single parents like Emily saw a path to stability. Jason's commitment to the cause inspired those around him, including Victor, who worked tirelessly to prove his dedication. Though their relationship began with mistrust, Victor's actions eventually earned Jason's forgiveness. The two men, once connected only by Liam's memory, now worked side by side to honor his legacy. One evening, as the sun set over the mansion, Jason and Emily sat on the porch, watching Lily chase fireflies in the garden. "I never imagined my life would look like this," Emily admitted, her voice tinged with emotion. "It's more than I ever dreamed of." Jason smiled, his gaze fixed on Lily's laughter. "Liam would be proud," he said quietly, "of both of us." Emily reached for his hand, and they sat in companionable silence, their shared grief now a source of strength rather than sorrow. Together, they had built something lasting, a legacy of love and resilience that would endure for generations. With their lives intertwined, Jason, Emily, and Lily formed a bond that felt more like family with each passing day. Jason spent his weekends with them, teaching Lily to ride her first bike in the mansion's gardens and sharing childhood stories about Liam. He cherished these moments, feeling closer to his brother through the memories they created together. Emily, too, noticed the changes in Jason. His once distant and business-first attitude had shifted to a warm and caring presence. He was no longer the aloof billionaire she had once worked for, but a man who deeply valued the people around him. She often caught him gazing at Lily with a quiet smile, as if marveling at the second chance life had given him. Meanwhile, Emily flourished in her role at the Liam Harlow Foundation. Her dedication to helping others reminded Jason of Liam's compassionate nature. Together, they expanded the Foundation's reach, ensuring that no child or parent would feel alone in their struggles. Their shared mission not only brought them closer, but also inspired others to join the cause, turning the Foundation into a beacon of hope for countless families. Through these efforts, The memory of Liam became a guiding force for all their actions. As the months turned into a year, the foundation celebrated its first major milestone, providing support to over 1,000 families. Jason hosted a gala at his mansion to mark the occasion, inviting both donors and beneficiaries to share their stories. Emily took the stage to speak, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "This foundation exists because of one man's unwavering belief in family," she said, glancing at Jason, "and because of a brother's love that transcends time and loss." Her words moved the audience, and Jason felt a deep sense of fulfillment as he realized how far they had all come. After the event, Jason and Emily stood together on the balcony, watching the city lights twinkle in the distance. "Do you ever think Liam knew this could happen?" Emily asked softly. Jason nodded. "I think he hoped for it. He always believed that even the hardest times could lead to something beautiful." With that, they raised a toast to Liam, whose memory had brought them together. As Lily joined them, laughing as she twirled in her gala dress, Jason felt a profound peace. The scars of the past had healed, leaving behind a legacy of love, hope, and second chances. A year after their lives intertwined, Jason, Emily, and Lily stood stronger than ever. The Liam Harlow Foundation had grown into a thriving organization, celebrated for its impact on families in need. Jason's mansion, once a hollow symbol of wealth, had become a bustling hub for community events, a reflection of his transformation. Emily had found her voice as a leader within the foundation, mentoring single parents and guiding them through the struggles she once faced alone. Her strength inspired others, and her story became a testament to the power of resilience and support. For Jason, life now felt complete. The once lonely billionaire discovered the joy of belonging to a family. He no longer spent nights alone in his penthouse office, but instead with Lily, helping her with homework or sharing bedtime stories about Liam's adventures. Every laugh, every shared moment with Emily and Lily felt like a gift he never expected. The mansion's grand dining room became a regular gathering place for family dinners. As they ate together, surrounded by laughter and warmth, Jason reflected on how far they had come. What started as a search for answers had led him to the one thing money couldn't buy: connection and love. On a sunny spring afternoon, Jason, Emily, and Lily gathered in the garden to unveil a new statue dedicated to Liam. The sculpture, a depiction of a man reaching out to a child, stood as a symbol of the foundation's mission and Liam's lasting legacy. The small crowd of family, friends, and foundation supporters watched as Lily placed a bouquet of flowers at the base. "Uncle Jason," Lily said, looking up at him with wide eyes, "do you think Daddy knows we're doing this for him?" Jason knelt beside her, his voice steady but full of emotion. "I think he does, Lily. And I think he's really proud of us." Emily placed a hand on Jason's shoulder, her eyes shining with gratitude. "None of this would have been possible without you," she said softly. Jason shook his head. "It's because of all of us, Emily. Liam brought us together, but it's the love we've built that keeps us moving forward." As the crowd applauded, Jason felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. The pain of the past had given way to a future filled with purpose. Together, they had turned their shared loss into something beautiful: a family, a legacy, and a life worth celebrating.